I might have to move in a little closer, dude. You're way out of the picture. Still out.
Back it up.
Still out of the picture. Still out of the picture.
That's all right.
Well, get in a little bit. I don't want to be talking to the good ghost. There you go. So what do you want to talk about? What do you want to ask me about?
Well, let's go back all the way to the beginning. What's your first memory?
Of what?
Anything.
My dad was building our house on Tilden. And I can remember looking up and seeing beams and stuff. I assume he was putting up 2x4 walls. And I must have been in a crib because I can remember looking up and seeing like construction happening.
He built that house?
He built everything.
The one on Tilden?
Yeah.
Where'd they live before that? The base?
No, I think they lived in a farm over there on Atkinson. Dad worked the farm and they got a free house or something.
That's cool.
And then he built that house on Tilden.
And then Grandpa's from Hondo.
He's originally
San Patricio.
There's a little town between Alamogordo and Ruidoso called La Luz, L-A-L-U. That's where our family's from. The whole family.
La Luz.
La Luz.
And he ended up. And where did he meet Grandma?
At a dance I believe in Hondo, San Patricio. Apparently he was some kind of good-looking guy, and he would spend money on clothes because he would work all the time, and he'd go to these dances, and the girls would line up to dance with him. And Mom put her eyes on him, and apparently he was dancing with some girl, and she didn't like it. So the girl's boyfriend didn't like the fact that Dad was dancing with her, so he came up and started a fight with Dad. And Mom, your grandma, jumped on his back and started beating the crap out of him. At least that's what they said.
That's the story.
That's the story. And then they started dating, and then the rest was history.
And then he joined the service before or after?
He was drafted.
Oh, he was drafted.
With my Uncle Monroy Sanchez, that's my mother's brother, and my Uncle Ernest, the one from Tucson, her little brother.
For World War II?
World War II. And Uncle Monroy went to Europe, and I heard he got lost over, but he's fine. He came back, had a family. And my dad, he ended up, he went to Fort Bliss, I believe, which is in El Paso, Texas. And it's also a place where you go for basic training if you get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And his story is everybody had to count off 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And all the Army the ones ended up being regular Army. And the twos ended up being the Army Air Force, which was just started. So Dad went to the San Francisco area in a place called Concord, and he ended up being an airplane mechanic. He never went he never saw war.
So he was close just to count away, huh?
Well, he went where he was.
Right, but
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, you're right. A count away, get one number away.
Going to fight the Nazis, huh?
Well, he did. He kept the planes flying.
Yeah. And then when the war ended, they moved back to New Mexico?
No, Mom always stayed in New Mexico. In fact, she got pregnant with Ernestina and had a little baby, and I guess he was allowed to come home for that.
In the 40s, right?
Yeah, she was like a 47. Well, I was born in 51, and she's 8 years older than I am, so.
43?
1943. Yeah.
Dang. Right in the middle of everything, huh?
Yep. And she was raised in Hondo with her cousin Stella, who just passed away at 81 about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
They were raised together.
So what was it like growing up in Roswell on Tilden and stuff? Like what?
It was beautiful. It was wonderful. We didn't know any better. Although if you look at it now, it's one of the most blighted areas in Roswell. It's horrible.
Was it called Chihuahuita back then?
Yeah, because a lot of the original inhabitants came from Chihuahua, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And the poor Hispanics that couldn't afford to live anywhere else in Roswell.
But back then it was nice and green and
For us, it was, but what we didn't know is they were placed in that area due to racism. The white people did not want them anywhere else except in that area.
on the east side.
And they, back at the turn of the century, that used to be an old cattle yard. So, you know, cows were out there were pooping all over the place and stuff. And
On the roads?
no, on the land.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it was so green, because it was all that fertilizer.
And then you went to school at
St. John's.
Catholic school?
Catholic school.
From what grades?
Preschool to the 8th grade, and then I went to St. Peter's, which was another Catholic school, primarily for the rich white kids. And I went there for 1 year because it closed down due to lack of enrollment.
Did they have like public schools, or did all the kids go to Catholic schools back then?
No, they had public schools.
But Grandma and Grandpa just wanted you to go to Catholic school?
Yeah, were and are very Catholic.
That's cool. What was that like with the nuns and stuff?
I loved it. People used to say, "Oh, you're gonna get beaten up." They never beat us up. I was doing Greek mythology in the 2nd grade. I was learning Latin in the 2nd grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, William, Papa was learning Latin. William asked where language came from. I told him, or why did we create language like as humans? And I told him about Latin and Sanskrit and stuff and how it's...
Hey, William? Can you put that little thing down for a second?
There's no pause button.
When you get a break.
I was going to show you what Latin sound like. I can still speak it a little bit.
I can still hear you.
Adem qualificat juventutem meam, quare me repeluste, quare cistus, and shadow domo fligit me inimicos.
I heard mi amigos. My friends. So what was it like? You have your younger brother, Uncle Arthur, and your older sister, Aunt Ernestina. What was it like growing up with them?
Ernestina was mean to me.
Mean? Why?
Well, she was beautiful, and she had about 7 or 10 girlfriends that she hung out with all the time. And they would go into her room and listen to her records on her record player. And I'd ask her if I could come in, and she would only let me in if I would dance in front of all the girls, or what was the other one? Another condition? I can't remember the other one. But that's why it started my love of music, was listening to those records. Guys like the Everly Brothers, Bye Bye Love, that kind of stuff.
That's where you... And then, so how old had you been then?
6, 7, 8.
And what made you pick up a guitar for the first time?
Well, my mom wanted me to take guitar lessons, so she bought me a little guitar. It's downstairs. It's pretty jacked up, but it's my first...
Grandma wanted you to take guitar?
Yep.
That's cool. Just to get some kind of...
musical training.
Enrichment?
I did it for about a month, and then I dropped it.
And what made you pick it back up again?
Watching the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show.
What year was that?
1963, February.
Really? You saw that?
Yep. I was 12.
And you picked up your little guitar again?
And I started playing. The rest is history.
Yeah. And how old were you when you joined your first band?
63, I was 12. Probably 63, 64.
So you're just a kid.
I was a little kid, yeah.
How'd you find guys in the neighborhood like...
We were all little musicians. We didn't know what the hell we were doing.
Really?
We would play at the skating rink, and there'd maybe be one person there besides us.
So like with Grandma and Grandpa, would they always go to your shows and everything?
When we got better and we started playing in nightclubs, Dad had to go with us because we couldn't go without a guardian.
Really? They let you play there, but you had to have your parents there?
A parent.
A parent. What would he do? Just sit back?
Just sit back and
drink beer and hang out?
Drink a beer and hang out, yeah. We never got in trouble or got hurt. It's just that they didn't want anything to happen to little kids in the bar.
Okay.
Did you want to be like a musician, like for a profession? Like
no, I wanted to be a rock star. I knew that. I wanted to be John Lennon, Paul McCartney.
So then, what happened to make you realize, like, I don't know, what happened to make you realize like you needed to go? You went to college and stuff and got out of bands.
I never got out of bands till my mom and I were actually married. That's the way I supported us.
Playing bands.
I would teach in the daytime and play in bands at nighttime. And she was finishing up her bachelor's degree. And then she taught for 2 or 3 years in a little town called Dexter. She taught English. And then she told me one night, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. So she took LSAT, scored like in the 92nd or 95th percentile. College were asking her to apply. Colleges.
So then law school happened.
Law school happened.
And then you were in college though, right? Already?
I had my master's already, but I was working on more hours in administration.
What made you choose teaching?
I guess that's what I had the most hours in at the time. I don't know. It chose me. I didn't choose it. It's like I was originally going to be a speech therapist.
Yeah.
And I did real well in those classes, but then you had to get a double major, and the other one was audiology. And the first 2 courses you got to take are physics, and forget it. I was done.
So, Ernestina, you said she used to have her girlfriends over. What was Uncle Arthur like when he was younger? You're 4 years older than him.
Yeah,
right?
I used to beat him up all the time. All the time. I was jealous. He was so good looking, so talented. He could play every sport that I could never play. And then he started to get tall, and then I stopped beating him up, and then I became very proud of him.
Yeah.
Because he could do all kinds of stuff that I could never do.
What age do you remember like flipping that switch from like jealousy to
I was
proudness?
He was about maybe 10, and so I was 4 years old. I was about that 12,
So
13.
It's like right around like puberty, you started realizing that.
And then I became his biggest supporter.
Didn't you build a car for him or
We built like 4
soapbox derbies? What year did he win it all?
I believe it was 71 or 72.
And you guys went to Akron?
To Akron. We'd never been outside of New Mexico.
So is San Francisco and Akron the farthest that Grandpa or Grandma has ever been from New Mexico?
Because Dad had a brother who lived in San Francisco. So we drove there one time. His brother would come down maybe once or twice a year in a big old camper, and my 3 cousins.
Who's that?
His name was Manuel. He passed away a few years
And that's why we have family in that area?
We did. They're all dead now.
Oh. But they never went past Akron or did they ever go to foreign country or anything? Or
no.
No. They came to Arizona to visit a couple times.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Somebody calling me?
Huh?
I heard a buzz. And then your mom's about 3rd year of law school. She got pregnant with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought my life couldn't get any better. I have a house, this house. I have a baby. I have a wife. I have a family. Everything I ever wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And you were born about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years later. I was telling her mom, we should maybe think about having another baby. And she says, I don't want to have any more kids. In fact, I don't want to be married anymore.
Yeah.
And that pretty much did me in.
Yeah. Well.
But I'm okay now. But it was pretty rough. And then you had a little boy, so life even got better for me. But then old age came and that kicked my rear end. Mostly because I didn't take care of myself.
So you know this guy?
I've known him since the day he was born. I was there. I wasn't there when he was born, but I was
the
there.
Day after, right there.
No,
right?
a few hours after.
Yeah. Do you remember? Did you know that, William? That Papa was there when you were born?
Mm-mm.
Like you were born at night, and the next day he came and saw you.
He was born in the afternoon, wasn't he?
No, it was like 1 a.m. or something.
Was it? Then yeah.
Yeah.
And he was crying like a little baby.
That happens.
I used to cry worse than that when I was a baby. My mom told me every time I used to cry, I used to fart.
Was Grandma? Were you her like little baby?
I think
Because she used to tell me that she would tie your shoes even when you were like.
I've always been like that. I can make you do it nowadays. Put my shoes on,
You
stuff.
do that to her and put your feet up. I remember
Yeah.
she'd do that.
Does William do that to you guys?
Sometimes, huh, William?
Put my shoes on, Mom.
Carry me up the stairs, right, William?
No way.
Sometimes.
You guys carry an 87-pound kid up the stairs?
Sometimes.
Man, you must be in shape.
So when I was growing up, what was it like? Like,
You were my pride and joy. It was all about you. Everything.
what did you like? Did you try putting me in music and sports and
I gave you every
arts and everything.
opportunity, but there's something you like. I put you in karate. That lasted about a week
Yeah.
because you saw those big guys hitting each other. And you
Yeah,
thought they were
I'm
gonna.
on a no piece. Make sure it's working.
What are you looking at, William? You got a big old smile on your face.
William's making his own level. He has a game where you can make your own Mario levels. How did I get involved in like soccer? Like how did I get involved in
I
sports?
first got you involved in that stuff because
Or t-ball.
I used to pick you up 2 days a week and every other weekend, and I would see other guys coaching kids, and I would say, no, I barely have enough time to spend with my kid, and I can coach him at least for now until he gets better, and then if I'm hurting him, I won't coach him anymore. So I coached you in Little League soccer and Little League baseball and all that stuff until you got good, and then I let other guys who knew what they were doing coach you. But you were always into athletics. You liked it all the time. And I would tell you after a game, oh, we just had fun. And you'd say, no, we didn't. We won 27-2 or something like that. You were very aware of winning.
Yeah. Always.
Always.
That's funny. I remember my first year, I played on I think it might have been a club soccer team.
If it was in Scottsdale, it was a club.
And we had green jerseys, and I don't remember it being that much fun, but I do remember like.
Well, the other thing I had to do is because I was a coach, I started using the computer to set up my rosters, and I would pull you out at least one quarter to give some other kids a chance to play because I didn't want people to think I was doing favorites, even though you were always the best kid on the team.
Yeah.
I don't know if you liked it or not, but I couldn't do that to the other little kids like Joey. Remember Joey?
Mm-hmm.
He'd never get to play if you got to play the whole game.
So back when you were younger, what kind of food did Grandma used to make?
Well, our lunches for school would be a tortilla, and then she'd put fried potatoes in the tortilla and wrap it up, and there it was.
And foil, and there you send you to
If
school.
you want to see what my youth was like, rent the movie or check out the movie Bless Me Ultima. That was my life.
Bless Me Ultima.
Mm-hmm. And we were so ashamed to eat tortillas in school that we would go by the side of the building so that the kids who had white bread would make fun of us.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Wonder Bread was a delicacy?
Wonder Bread was awesome if you could get it.
Did you ever get it?
Nope.
Never?
I would change a burrito for what every now and then for bologna sandwich.
Wasn't there a panaderia right around the corner?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We would stop there every day. It was on Tilden and Garden right there, and get sweet bread on our way home.
They used to have like a mural painted.
Yeah.
I went when I was back there with the kid in the spring. Nice, dude. We drove by there and
there's a lot of groups.
There's not even the mural anymore. It's gone.
There was a lot of groups that used to hang out there, like Chicano Power places. They would paint their murals on there.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there was a big old rock fence on the other side, somebody's property, and they used to call that the Berlin Wall, because all the doper guys would sit on that wall and smoke pot. And
Oh, really?
yeah, they'd leave you alone. I mean, they wouldn't make you. William, you tell me something.
I mean,
Like, you're very handsome, Papa, or something like that.
What do you think of Papa, William? Do you like coming to visit Papa here? It's fun, huh?
Except you didn't go swimming at all this time.
That's true, huh? William, what's your first memory of hanging out with Papa? Do you remember when you were a baby hanging out with Papa?
I remember. I took you to Fry's and I put you in that little cart that had like a steering wheels in it. Remember that? And you thought you were driving? Yeah. I wouldn't shop. I'd just go there so he could do that.
I remember a story, William.
hmm.
One time, me and your mom, we came here and we left you here to hang out with Papa, and you were like not even one yet, and Papa called us. Where's his diapers? And we didn't even leave any diapers with you, so he had to take you.
Ooh.
He had to take you to Fry's, and that's where he.
I remember that. I had to buy diapers for you all, and you had a stinky one.
That happens. Good job, Dad, huh? Leaving a baby without diapers.
Do you know that when babies make poop, it's yellow? It looks like mustard. It does, dude. It's nasty.
Mustard.
I tell you what, though, when you were born, you were our life. We loved you so. We still love you.
So what do you think of my wife, Carrie?
I love her. She's a good lady. She takes care of you. That's all I wanted was for her to take care of you.
That's
First
it.
a Goomba.
And then also Braden. Braden's not here and Carrie's not here, but
Braden's a good kid.
When did you first meet Braden?
He was a little baby, about 4 maybe or 3, and you guys were asleep, and he was sleeping at the foot of your door.
Oh yeah, were you there for that?
Yeah, because he didn't want to be away from his mommy.
Yeah, we used to live in the house where the first couple of nights he slept like at the foot of our door. Yeah, you saw that?
Huh?
He's a good dude to hang out with, huh?
Yep, I got him mad at me though one time.
William, listen to this.
Because he told me he wanted to go. He told me he wanted to go to bed. I said, okay, no problem. But what he wanted to do was to lay down so he could get up in a few minutes and play games. So I went in his bedroom and I laid right next to him. And he wanted to get up. And I said, nope, you said you wanted to go to bed. You're going to bed.
Oh, at the old house?
Yeah.
On Collins Eve.
And I laid down next to him until your mom and dad got home. And then he was quiet, like everything was cool. But he had been crying. He was fighting with me.
Oh, he wanted to play
But
games.
not fighting, like trying to hurt me. He was just, I want to get up. Please let me get up.
That's funny.
Kids are funny. They think they're adults, and you can't tell them nothing. But when you remind them when they're older, 18, 20, I didn't do that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So what are some of your favorite memories with me growing up when I was younger?
Everything.
You know, I like when we would go to Roswell. That's probably my best.
Put you in the back of the van with your books and music and stuff and you would sleep.
No, William, remember when I told you this? Remember, Dad, when we would drive to Roswell, Papa would put on the Beatles, and what would I say when I was real little? What would I say? Do you remember? I'd say, I don't like the Beatles.
Yeah, he did. He was crazy.
But in reality, I would just say that to be rude. But in the back seat, I would be asleep. I would have my eyes closed and listening to Beatles, and I liked it.
Do you like the Beatles, William?
Do you do that sometimes, William?
He doesn't like the Beatles.
You don't say you like something just to be contrary.
No.
Sometimes you do, huh?
He doesn't even know what that word means, contrary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do.
What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
It means. I don't know.
When you say you don't like the Beatles,
It
to
means
be
opposite.
contrary.
It means opposite.
I was gonna say that.
So, like, if I say, I like that girl over there, and you go, I don't like her, you're not necessarily saying that you don't like her. You're just saying it to be contrary, to be mean to me.
So, here's something that I'm jealous of, but
What?
it's my fault, kind of, but also your fault.
What did I do?
Well, first of all, you've been to a Super Bowl
Okay.
with me, but you also went to Game 7 of the World Series with the Diamondbacks.
And that's my
beat
fault?
The Yankees.
And that's my fault? Let's call the boys up, see if they want to come to the game. They're more into this than we are. Call them. And I called, and you guys were across the street playing football.
We didn't have cell phones back then, huh?
I didn't want those tickets. You were big into the Diamondbacks.
What was that game like? Was it wild in there?
It was cool. I liked it better than the Super Bowl.
Or just nerve-wracking the whole time?
Nah, we kind of figured the whole vibe in that place was we were going to win because we had beaten them, and the 2 times that they beat us or something, they barely beat us. You know what? I think William gets a better tan than you do.
Probably. Dang, William, look at that level he's making with all the bad guys.
And I'm making them all.
Giants. There's no way to beat that level.
Oh, yeah. You'll see.
Does he play that on the plane? You better stop playing it and charge it up for the plane. You
Yeah,
won't
we
have,
do need to charge it for the
but
plane.
you won't have any gas.
How much battery's on there? 74. Yeah, I'll probably play. You can play for 10 more minutes, okay? Then we're going to charge it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What planes are you? Southwest? What are you flying? Spirit?
Frontier.
Frontier? What's he laughing about now?
Show Papa the level you're making.
Not yet.
Oh, he wants to surprise you.
Why is he laughing? Is it a
This
silly
game,
level?
this game you can create your own. Stop shaking the table. This game you can create your own levels and stuff.
We bought this table, and I believe that furniture in there from Muller's when they used to sell a lot of furniture.
Muller's.
Your mom would just order it and they would ship it down here. And your Uncle Phil laid all the carpet in this house. Needs new carpet, but I'm not going to do it till my dogs are gone.
Yeah. So what was it like working at Tempe High?
I loved it. It was a good job. I was respected and loved over there. It was good.
And then when I was going there, was it cool to have a kid going to the school?
No,
No?
because everybody'd squeal on you.
Yeah.
David's not doing his homework.
What would you do?
You know what I would do? I'd bring you in my office and yell at you, and you'd get all butthurt.
William, did you know that Papa taught at my school where I went to high school? So like if you go to Green Valley, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And if I had a bad grade, he would come and pull me out of class.
No, because the teachers would come and tell me he had bad grades. He wouldn't tell me.
He would pull me out of class and go, David.
David.
Oh, jeez.
That is a tough level. That's impossible. You need a star or something.
Did he create it?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, maybe I really did make it too.
So what was it like when I moved to Chile? Was that tough for you?
Heartbreaking.
It was?
Yes. I put you on the plane and I went to the bathroom after I put you on the plane and I wept like a baby.
In the airport?
Oh, that's the first time you left me for a long period of time, 6 months at a time.
Yeah, it was tough for me too.
But then after the first time, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Because you were having a good time. If you would have been miserable there, I would have been miserable.
And then do you remember how we used to have to communicate?
Yeah, every Sunday, about 6 o'clock.
We would have to line up the phone call, and you would write letters too.
Uh-huh.
And then the Duncans, Jason, Sheila, you would have them write a little bit too, right? Would they come to your
I
office?
think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
I remember.
But I think that's probably one of the best experiences that ever happened in your life.
Yeah.
To be away and to have to grow as a human being yourself. And do you know that your dad learned how to ride three-wheelers in Chile?
Four-wheelers.
Four-wheelers? He would go over hills like this, look. And he'd sail in the air. And then he'd come down and land.
Show Papa that level, William. Are you done with it?
No, actually, not yet. Almost done.
So did you guys go to Hondo a lot when you were younger?
No, I didn't. I was a city boy. Art went all the time.
With Grandpa?
Yep.
And you and Grandma would stay home?
No, Grandma, everybody'd go except me. I'd stay home.
Why?
It was boring. Go look at apples and rivers all the time.
What would you do? Just stay home and
Stay
listen
home
to
and,
records?
and watch TV. And I was a TV guy my whole life.
Yeah. What was your favorite shows to watch?
Westerns.
Is that why you like westerns now?
The Rifleman. Wanted Dead or Alive. Yeah.
Do you remember taking me to rated R movies when I was younger?
Mm-mm. I remember getting a cassette that you had borrowed from somebody and it said parental guidance, and I took it away from you. You got mad at me because I think it was Tupac or somebody.
Snoop Dogg.
And why are you doing that, Dad? And I said, oh, you'll understand when you get older.
I tell Braden now, I say, hey man, I know the music you listen to is going to have bad words, but I don't want to hear you using that language, and I don't want to hear that music in front of you. Similar?
Uh-huh.
But
But when you're a dad for the first time, you're kind of learning as you're going along. You don't know what to expect.
But I used to watch, I used to have VHS of like RoboCop and stuff. And
Yeah, those were pretty cool.
I would watch those movies. You always used to like those, like Fangora magazines.
Yeah, I still have a bunch of those.
were you into horror movies or like the special effects or what?
Special effects. I was into makeup. How do they do that? How
Really?
yeah. Like a lot of zombie movies, they would put the guy's head. They would dig a hole, or the carpenters would cut out a hole, and the guy would get in there, and then they would seal it up, and his head would be sticking out. And then here they would have a fake body.
Blood and stuff.
Oh, they'd go to the local butcher place and get guts and hearts and stuff and throw them in there.
You like that stuff?
Oh yeah. If you can fool me, I loved it.
What was the scariest movie when you were a kid that you remember watching?
Your mom and I, we freaked out. I can remember that one. That was Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, was that what's the guy's name?
It was a fake black and white thing where these two people go to a cemetery and they end up going to a farmhouse and trying to survive. It was actually, I think, the first zombie movie ever made.
Was that the one with the biracial couple in it?
Yeah.
So it was pretty
Modern.
And it had a lot of criticism for that, right? Like, didn't have a lot of criticism for having. I think it was a black man.
They all always had criticisms.
Yeah. I gotta watch that one. No, but when you were a kid, didn't you used to watch the classics like The Blob and what was the scariest one?
Well, there was one when I was a little kid that totally freaked me out. It was called the H-Man.
Yeah.
H was for hydrogen. And it was basically this guy got melted in a nuclear reactor. I have it downstairs somewhere. And then he would cling up to the ceilings, and if you walked to that passageway there, he'd fall on you, and then he would turn you into an H-Man.
Oh, really?
So when I grew up, I was always looking in every corner as I was walking through to make sure.
Oh, it's like he'd just be hanging like a Spider-Man hanging out in the corner and drop on you.
And then I bought it at Costco about 5 to 10 years ago, and it had that and a couple others, Godzilla or something, And I looked at that and I said, I was afraid of this.
Yeah.
What's the scariest movie you've ever seen, William?
That's a good question.
In your whole life?
I don't know.
What is the scariest movie you've seen, William?
I don't know.
What about you?
Fire in the Sky. That's that movie about that guy up in Snowflake that got abducted by
Why
aliens.
did that scare you?
Have you seen that movie?
I think so.
When he goes on the alien ship and it shows him, that's creepy.
That's Roswell.
Yeah. Did you ever see any aliens in Roswell growing up? Was that even a thing back then?
No. It didn't become a thing till the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then they mentioned the Roswell incident and people went nuts.
Like in the 80s? Then it picked up. It's funny.
What is he doing?
He beat his level finally.
I'm going to go take my meds and lay down.
All right.
What time is it?
It is 10:51. So what time's Donna coming?
12.
12.
About an hour.
For sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's good on time.
All right. All right, Dad. Will you go take a nap?
I don't know if I'll take a nap. I'll just hang out
Okay.
with William when he's watching his dumb Nintendo stuff on TV.
You can call it dumb if you want.